What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, so I want to talk some Runi today and give some predictions. Now, if you've been on this channel, you know I don't do price predictions, so that's not what I'm talking about. But as we get into the general sale tomorrow, or the public sale, and if you go here to the OpenSea front page, you will see that we have a nice little countdown, and the Runi logo, the Runi project, is taking pretty much the entire page of OpenSea's homepage. So I had a chance to listen to the Twitter Spaces that OpenSea did with both Chatter and 16-Bit, were the two guys on there. And as you can see, I don't know if you've been following where the floor price has been, but we've actually jumped up in overall floor price. All right, what is going on now? Let me go back to the collection. There we go. All right, so here is, and I'll just refresh, the floor price has now jumped back up to 0.309. Now, in that Twitter Spaces, we had, I don't know, anywhere between like 80 to 100 people at any given time, but there were a lot of folks who I saw that were not part of the Splinterlands ecosystem, or at least they didn't have anything on their Twitter profiles that made them seem like they were, or more specifically, they were repping other NFT collections or said that they were NFT enthusiasts. So to me, that doesn't really represent Splinterlands players, but it does represent the target demographic, and I wouldn't be surprised if we have seen some of the recent activity that's happened probably just in the last hour or so. I mean, here we go. See, last one was sold 17 hours ago, and then right after the Twitter Spaces ended, which is about an hour ago actually, you had a bunch of people come in and buy up the floor essentially. So raising that floor, it's looking good overall. Now, I want to give my thoughts on Runi overall. And I talked about this a little bit on my live stream yesterday, but just to kind of expand upon that, this is something, and before I even jump into anything, none of this is financial advice. This is all gaming. This is all art. This is whatever. I do not claim to know anything about NFTs specifically and NFT specifically on Ethereum. But where I could potentially see the volume going for this, or not volume, but like the project overall, is I think it's going to take a while. And I know there's a lot of hype right now, and tomorrow there's going to be a lot of hype as well. And so all I'm trying to do, guys, is just give you something to think about in terms of how a lot of these NFT projects go. Whenever there's launches, there's crazy volume, there's a lot of hype, there's a lot of mania. People are going to see their Runi or Runis that they might be interested in going up in value. And it's going to, it might potentially get insane. It might not. And if it doesn't, that's kind of in line with where I would be thinking anyway. But now that I've seen some of that hype, some of that interest from the target demographic, I can definitely imagine or definitely see some of the Ethereum whales or Ethereum NFT enthusiasts jumping in and trying to potentially flip. So that's where I'm looking at this. Now, I have my 3 Runi still, right? And I don't have any plans of letting go of my Gilly Club guy, even though the fish is no longer one of one, sadly. But what I may end up doing is trading in one of these guys. Now, what am I looking for? Well, I would love a better background if we ever get to trade out parts, or any other kind of unique traits, right, that I don't necessarily have yet. I am not looking to mint right now, but what I am looking to do is if the floor price does rise and I can offer, or I can get a decent offer for one of these, I want to recover, 1, some capital, and then 2, I am probably going to plan and wait to see where things shake out, because from a release schedule, so now taking this back to Splinterlands as a whole, from a release schedule, there are 2 big things that are on the roadmap for Q4. The first of which is tech modernization land phase 0 and then land phase 1, right? So that hopefully will be coming before the end of the year. And then the other part is the SPS validator nodes going live. Now, that's, we don't have any updates on that just yet. SPS Guild Brawls are set to come in sometime later this month, and we have Lex Vega, we have a couple of airdrops. It's going to be a busy end of the year, I think, and not in a Runi kind of way. So I do believe there is going to be a lull period where you're going to get a lot of people who buy in during the hype, and then things kind of settle down, all the people who wanted to flip then start trying to offload because they're not really interested in the project. But hopefully we get a couple of these ETH whales or NFT enthusiasts to come check out the Hive blockchain, right? And Splinterlands specifically on the Hive blockchain. But you're starting to see the momentum move. Again, I'm not saying this thing is going to moon. I'm just trying to say that if you already have a Runi and are planning to potentially flip it, then tomorrow might be the day to keep an eye, right? And my plan specifically, and I know I'm not really even good at sticking to my own plans, but my plan specifically is to potentially offload one of my Runi. And even though I said that I would be happy with 2, part of me wants to see if I can get another one, even if it's just as basic or even more basic, for a little bit cheaper at some point in the future. And when I would be looking, okay, and I don't know, again, none of this is advice. This is just what I am planning to do. I would be looking right after the holidays. So in January, maybe even going into February, there's probably going to be a bit of a lull. I don't know what's going to happen with global macro and the economy and all that. But after the holidays, people are just tapped out. They've spent money on gifts. They got all the bills from all their Christmas shopping coming up. And so, hopefully nobody is degenning into, into Runi and NFT projects with money that they need to put food on the table or cover their bills. But if people are, because they tried to flip something or, unsuccessfully were able to do so, then they will be offloading those at hopefully decent prices. So again, if I can get 0.3 right now and then come back in later and get something for 0.2, hey, that's 0.1 ETH right there, which is not a insignificant chunk of change. And especially if I'm bullish long term on ETH, I don't mind holding that. But that's kind of my plan with where I want to go for mine. Right now, the market, it's not. Saturated is not the word that I'm looking for. It's about to get saturated with way more Runi, right? Because we've minted about 2.1 out of the total 6,500. So there's still a lot more coming into the mix tomorrow, which is going to be exciting. And I probably will end up live streaming for some of it just to see how it plays out. But otherwise, I just want to get your thoughts now on how you're planning to play this. Is this an investment for you? Are you going to try and flip NFTs or Runi? Are you going to just buy and hold? Are you going to try and get in during the mint and pay the 0.38 and hope that you get something awesome? I'm curious to know where this community specifically is at. Again, I'm not saying what you should or shouldn't do. I'm not saying what is or is not going to happen. I'm letting you know that I'm probably going to offload one of the ones that I got because I was able to mint it for 0.19 ETH. And so if I can get 0.3 or more, I'll probably offload one to cover the cost of my other 2 and then just be happy with that. And then we'll see what happens in January, February, maybe in that lull period, right? We get some more information or alpha on Runi, and that would be a great time to kind of get in right before that alpha on Runi comes out sometime early next year. But I don't think we're going to get any more information or any more utility for Runi before the end of the year. And when I say any more utility, I mean beyond actually being able to play it in the game, which obviously we don't have yet. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm curious to see how this plays out, and I'm excited to watch it live with you tomorrow. Otherwise, I will catch you all in the next video and see you around the game.